Alright, hello class, my name is Devin Paws and I'll be talking to you about the Battle of Galveston today. So I'm a pretty visual learner, so I'm going to use black poker chips as the Union and red poker chips as the Confederates. So there's two parts to the Battle of Galveston, and I want to talk mainly about their war strategies because the Union came in and took the port, and then the Confederates had to win it back. So the first battle starts when Union Naval Commander William B. Renshaw right there, so he comes in with 8 naval ships. Alright, so he comes in, and this is the port of Galveston here. So he throws a blockade here in the harbor. And he also has troops coming on foot, but he arrives here with the ships on October 2nd in 1862. The troops who were traveling by foot didn't show up until October 25th. So during this time, Texas Commander General Hebert, he had time to write up a truce and give his men time to retreat. So he sends all of his men back into the mainland. Now this is important because this is also a war decision that led to, Texas Confederate Army having a chance to come back and win their Galveston port back. So he sends all the men back, and they have lots of heavy artillery here in Texas. I mean, this is a big port. This is where they get a lot of supplies. These supplies, they go to Confederate armies all around the South, including Texas. Like, Texas had a good, strong army because of this Galveston port. So he sends all the heavy artillery back with the men. They go back in mainland. The Union troops show up, and they flood the streets. So Renshaw, he's got one. He's got 8 naval ships blockading the harbor. Nothing's getting into the port. And he's got the streets of Galveston Island taken care of. Well, obviously, Hebert surrendered Galveston Island. So the Confederates said, you know what? Commander John Magruder, he's going to go ahead and take over the war strategies and try to get this thing back. So now we're with John Magruder. Well, John Magruder was a very tactical, great war leader. So he sits down and he writes up a plan. These are the 2 ships that he used. This is what I'm representing here. So he only had 2 ships. They were actually river streamers. They weren't big, fancy naval commanding ships or anything like that Renshaw had for the Unions. So the Confederates, they load up 20 cannons on these, on both river streamers. So they come up from Houston. They're down here in Houston. So they slide up, they come down here, and the important thing is the way that they attack the ships. So they're shooting cannons and shooting bombs on these Union ships, and they actually ram one of their ships into a Union naval ship. When that happens, the river streamer starts to sink. Well, as it starts to sink, the men climb aboard the Union ships and take it. Then they start fighting from the Union ships on the other Union ships. While this boat back here is just launching bombs and hitting these people, this one's attacking this area. Well, the middle ship had all the supplies on it, okay? So that's important. We'll get to that later. To take care of the island, Magruder had men come down. This represents the railroad bridge, which that's what they called it back in that time, but now it's just the Galveston Bridge. So they come down the bridge. There's only one way in and out of this island here where the port is. So the Union army here on the ground, they're trapped. So they sit back and they're getting ready for a battle. So these men come down and they start fighting here on the island, on the ground. Well, while that's all happening, Confederates are winning. They outman the Union troops in the streets. They're having a good battle there. The ships, somehow the two ships with the plan that Magruder had, I mean, they were taking over. This ship's coming around here, and this ship is just fighting on the Union naval ships. Well, Renshaw, the Union naval commander, he sees what's happening. So he's a smart man. So he goes to the main ship with all the supplies, and he laces it with bombs. He's like, we may lose this battle, but we're not surrendering our supply ship. So he goes and he laces it with bombs. Well, when he does that, they light the bombs. He's with 10 men. They light the bombs too early, and they don't have time to get off the ship before it completely explodes. So as he destroyed the supplies and that ship, he also killed himself and 10 men. Now these are the leaders of the Union Army. So once that happens, these ships, they go ahead and retreat because they're like, I don't know what just happened, but our supply ship just went up in flames and there was a big bust. And once the Union troops on the ground see their naval supply ship up in flames, they lay their armor down. They lay their weapons down and they give up. So Magruder won. The Confederates won. They won back the Galveston Harbor and port. But they couldn't win unless they had these men surrender. And these men on the ground, the Union was actually winning. See, the Confederates only lost 17 men and had 114 wounded. But of the 17, only 2 of them were on ships that died. That's crazy to think about, but it's true. So when they laid their weapons down, that's how the Confederates won. And, I mean, this is important because, you know, without supplies, you can't fight a war. So the Civil War was huge, and this was a big battle because without the Galveston port, the Confederates had no chance to win. They would have no strategies at all, no supplies, heavy artillery. So this is a major battle, and I thought it was cool. The Confederates were outnumbered in every single way, 8 ships to 2. I mean, troops on the ground, like, they were already prepared. They had the inner city. They were at the advantage the whole time, but the Confederates won. So that's why I want to talk about the war strategy. Thank you.